Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, global markets reporter at Nasdaq. We're coming to you live from the Market Site studio in Times Square, New York City with LeGrand. He's the founder of LeGrand Coffee. It is great to have you back with us at Market Site. It's been since before the pandemic, and this is a new logo that we have behind us. You wrote a book, you founded Team LeGrand, you have a couple of other businesses going on, co-founded Night Society, you advocate for spinal cord injury, do a lot of public speaking. You just recently opened LeGrand Coffee House at the Avenue and Green Complex in Woodbridge, New Jersey. But it's more than just a coffee house. You are really building a community there.
I really am. You know, during 2020, I felt like the world was at each other's throats. So I'm like, how can I bring people together? Well, what do people want and what do they need? Coffee. So many great things come over a cup of coffee. We've already seen people getting together that haven't seen each other in years. People reached out to us to do business meetings, book clubs, and that's exactly what my goal was in the very beginning, to just find ways to take the minds off of everything that's going on out in the world and just come together over a cup of coffee.
Yeah, well, I mean, you went from playing football to sustaining a life-changing injury to not only opening LeGrand Coffee House, but a number of other businesses. What's the genesis behind that? How do you learn to incorporate all of these skill sets?
You know, that's being an athlete, I always say, trains you and sets you up for life. Learning how to work together as a team, becoming a leader, handling the hard times, self-evaluation moments, all those things I learned playing the game of football has now shifted over to the game of life. And when things go wrong, when adversity hits, being able to step back, formulate a plan, and then go and execute it. Learning to not only say, oh, everything was what I do. No, I have to listen to my team around me. So being a former athlete has definitely helped me when it comes to my business side and just understanding the way the world works.
What was it like opening up a brick and mortar business and executing on that during a pandemic? How are you managing, like every other retailer, supply chain issues, rising costs and so forth? What has that been like?
It wasn't easy, I'll tell you that, you know, with the supply chain. Definitely got delayed a lot longer than I thought it was going to be. The cost of everything was definitely risen, but we were able to overcome that and finally get our doors opened up in May of this year. And since then, now it's learning how to run the operations day to day. I have a great manager and I have a great team behind me, but it's learning how to deal with the supply chain still, the cost of goods, of everything that is still continuing to go up on certain stuff. So try to manage it in that way. And then once you get your numbers down and understand the cost of labor as well, then it's just finding your flow and being able to implement new things into the business. So we're right in the middle of it. I mean, we've been open for 7 weeks.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a crash course in business management, certainly, you know, on the ground training. Let's talk about community building, because you always come back to team. Why is it, whether it's a community on social media or real-time events, why is that so key to your strategy?
It's even when I started my foundation, Team LeGrand of the Christopher and Dana Reed Foundation. I feel like that's a part of my family. That was for spinal cord injury research. LeGrand Coffee House is building our coffee community, our family, just to get together. I love to be able to call it that, because that's exactly what it is. You know, you're coming here, you're supporting my business, you're supporting myself, but it's also being able to open up into a whole new world and being able to have different ideas, different times where you can get together as a family, just ways that you can come together and say, you know what, let's go for a cup of coffee at LeGrand Coffee House. Let's play in this business. Let's play in the family reunion. Let's be able to have, you know, something where we want to bring the kids to so they can have a good time. And you know me, Joe, that's what I'm all about.
Yes, you are definitely all about having a good time. You know, you have a massive network. You could have worked for a number of organizations. What motivates you to be a serial entrepreneur?
Just being able to come up with ideas in the middle of the night and come up and execute them, and not having to wake up and, you know, going out there and doing somebody else's or living somebody else's dream. Being able to live my own dream, create my own pathway, and have a great team around me. That's what it's all about. That's what gets me excited when I wake up in the morning on, okay, what's next on the agenda today? What do we have to get done for this dream, or what's the obstacle that's going to face that we have to figure out today? You know, being able to do it on something on my pathway, on my choices, I think that's what motivates me every day.
Yeah, and what's your advice to up-and-coming entrepreneurs?
Take the leap of faith. Don't be afraid to mess up. Don't be afraid not to know everything, because believe me, I don't know everything. I'm learning every single day, but I make sure I have good people around me, I have good advisors around me, and I listen to their advice, and I find a way to implement it into what needs to get done to be the boss and running the show each and every day.
Yep, know what you know what you don't know, and have the best people around you.
Exactamente.
All right. Great to see you as always. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks, and thanks for joining me. I'm Jill Malandrino, global markets reporter at Nasdaq.